someone who comes in and does not know what they're doing?
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say in response to some of this. I sort of see two different kinds of students that eventually major in international studies. Students who come in, they know they want to be international studies. And then students who come to Hopkins because Hopkins is known for science, which has good names, top 10 school, undergraduate school, like they come for kind of more what the reputation is for Hopkins, and then they discover international studies. So we have students who are pre-majors, basically, whatever they've indicated, they think they're going to major in chemistry, biology, physics, and then they'll somehow find us or come to my office and say, I didn't know we had such an amazing international studies program here. I really want to do this. So it really is flexible, and they really do focus on, there really is a heavy emphasis on this year of exploration. One other thing I think it's important to mention is that unlike most universities who have a similar academic year schedule, students take 5 courses here a semester rather than 4. And that kind of goes along with this theme of exploration. So students who do a 4-year degree here will take 8 more courses than they would at Cornell, say, for example, normally. So again, the idea is to kind of get to, and there's no core curriculum, I think that's also, there's distribution requirements, but no core. So again, for students who might like that exploration and that flexibility, that's something a little bit unique about Hopkins. Did you want to follow up?
International studies and science here. You've got a great public health department.
Right.
Talk a little bit about that.
Oh, we have students that double major in literally every major offered on campus. I think there are something like 32 undergraduate degree programs in the Krieger School of Arts and Sciences. Then we also have the engineering degrees. And we have everything. We have physics. We've got increasingly public health studies, which is the most popular major. That is sort of international studies and neurosciences, the most popular majors on campus. We have computer science, applied math, and stats is becoming a more popular. The most popular are going to be the sociology, political science, history, and we encourage students to do those. But I mean, it runs the gamut, and we have students at triple major as well. So if you come in and you find out that you really want to combine something creatively, you can do it, and we work with students on that. Yeah.
I just wanted to add on to that now looking back over my 4 years, in hindsight, it kind of looks like there's a trajectory that I knew what I wanted to do from the start and ended up here, and it was a straight linear line, but that's not at all what happened. I knew I wanted to study international studies broadly. At first I thought I wanted to study Romance languages, and then I thought, oh, maybe I'll study international security and all of that. So even though I knew I wanted to study foreign affairs, I also had a pathfinding experience my first year, which eventually culminated in my taking this fantastic course called Issues in International Development that ultimately set me on the path that I'm on now. So I think everybody goes through the pathfinding, even those of us that now looking back say, oh, I can see clearly why I ended up where I ended up. It certainly didn't feel that way as I was stumbling through my first year. Yeah.
You said a lot of students double major. One, if you're getting BA and BS, it would take 5 years, or they go in 4?
4 years.
Yeah. Whatever their primary major is the degree that they will graduate with. So if they are international studies and neuroscience, which I had one of those in my office the other day, neuroscience degree is a BS, ours is a BA, but their primary is international studies, so their degree will be a BA.
Okay. Yeah. What does the application look like for the BA/MA program? Oh, good question. There's an essay. There is a GPA eligibility requirement. So you do have a 3.5 or above. The essay is about your interest in pursuing a career in international affairs, recommendations from faculty, transcript, what am I missing, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
We subject scores? No.
I think Hopkins.
For the DME, when you apply as an applicant to Hopkins. Yeah. Right.
I think they recommend 2.
I didn't
Oh,
do it.
you didn't? Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh, maybe I'm thinking of a different school.
So the application is a separate essay on the application. So you toggle, and then it takes you to another window, and you fill in. There's prompts, and the students are asked to fill in that information. Then that's all they have to do to apply. But then, of course, we look at other things. And I did want to add that, because it gets to the kind of general question about admissions, for students who are interested in this program, advanced math, are they taking, so this is things you might want to talk to students about, high school students about, advanced math, taking econ where they have the opportunity to take econ courses, taking stats where they have the opportunity to take stats. So those are some things that they look at and can lead them to favor one application over another. I mean, there's no real kind of set curriculum. If students don't have options where they are studying, then we look at other things. One thing about SAIS is that SAIS has, its strength is in international economics, so it has a pretty substantial kind of quantitative econ focus. So we're looking at students in the BA and the PMP program that are going to be able to succeed in that kind of environment, and that's not every student. It's not for everyone. So it's a particular kind of student, particular students that are double majoring in econ that tend to favor BA and MA. Yeah.
So in regards to the subject tests, when I applied, which was almost 5 years ago now, so it's probably changed. So, but I was told that 2 subject tests would look good, but it wasn't required. So I took 2 SAT subject tests. One piece of information that I wish I had known as a high school student about coming to Hopkins was that Hopkins is very strict about accepting AP and other college credit from high school. I took a full slate of college courses my last 2 years, and I only got 1 course accepted, and it was my calculus scores. So they don't take any social sciences or humanities credits from other locations. So it was just the AP Science and Math. So that's one thing that I wish I had known. But yeah, it's interesting. But we fought it for. I mean, when we come in, everyone was in the same boat, and we're like, oh, we didn't realize this, and then everybody kept trying to fight it, and we ended up all giving up. But I don't know if it's still the same rule. But yeah. So that was my one thing that I wish I had known.
Just to touch also on the AP courses, I know that's not necessarily the most common aspect, but I know from what we've been told as students is that Hopkins really wants to make sure everyone's on the same level as they start freshman year, and so that's why it's so difficult to get AP credits approved and whatnot, so just so that they make sure as you go on through the major, everyone has the same fundamentals and everything. I know AP courses nationally are all essentially the same, but there is some variation in what you learn, and so that is one of the main points of why it's so difficult.
And actually, if I could share like an anecdote, so I took AP European History during high school, and one of the requirements for international studies is like an introductory level history course, and so I took what was called Modern Europe and the Wider World, which like at the outset, like just looking at the syllabus, felt like I was about to learn the same things as I learned in my AP Euro course, but actually it was a lot different. Even at the introductory level, this course basically went into a lot of literature and a lot of like primary source writing where I was analyzing and putting in conversation and putting in context a lot of the things that I didn't cover in high school. So I think like despite the fact that, you know, maybe at another university, my AP Euro score and this course, Modern Europe and the Wider World, would be identical, I think at Hopkins went in a very different direction that ultimately really, really added to my, you know, like history and stuff. It was a great course. I really enjoyed it.
On that same vein, and I don't know if this is getting too far away from international studies specifically, but in general, Hopkins is incredibly rigorous. Sid mentioned it a little bit. We take 5 courses a semester, not 4. The things we learn are way more in depth than the college courses that we have in high school. When you start to get to know people at other, what our president likes to call peer institutions or other top 10 programs, you start to realize that everywhere that's a good school is very rigorous, but there's a lot of things that are difficult at Hopkins specifically that a lot of other places don't experience. For example, you might have heard about Harvard's grade inflation. We don't have that here at all. And so, I mean, so there's little things that just make academic life here very rigorous and very difficult, and you're learning a lot, and it's worth it. I don't regret coming here at all, but it is a difficult program.
Courses are still 3 credits.
Yeah.
Yeah.